Hi everybody. So today's video is all about AI and how much um, I don't like it and why I personally think that it will never really replace the process of building software. People totally underestimate these days how much of a process it is to really build something. And I have here a great example that I wanted to record for that specific case. So right now I'm playing around with 3JS, which is basically a library that lets you build quickly 3D scenes in your browser. It's basically a wrapper around WebGL. It's very mature. It has a lot of different functionalities, and you can get really high-end results with it. Right now, I'm combining it together with Angular, and I'm trying to figure out things. As you see, I have a lot of commented out code, comments, lots of stuff that needs to be optimized at some point, reorganized, and so on and so forth. But what I'm trying to say here is this is like the typical process of building things. You explore basically a library and you get better at it because you learn the different API calls, the functions that the library provides, and so on and so forth. And this takes time. It's not something you can just jump into and you will be able to produce the best result within, I don't know, 1 hour or so. Some people might say, no, okay, so why should we still do it this way if AI can basically, if large language models can basically produce that within a matter of 1 minute or 5 minutes? Pretty simple to answer it. It's about the ownership, it's about understanding what you're doing. See, coding like that in the traditional way takes much more time and is a much more frustrating process because you have to figure out things on your own. But at the same time, you gain a lot of knowledge and you can reapply that knowledge and you get faster and better. You also understand the code. So if I would do this for a customer and he would ask me, could I change here something? Could I do maybe this and that? I'm pretty sure I could do any kind of request as long as it's possible in 3JS, I would be able to do that. So with AI, I would be also able to do whatever the customer wants. But the question is, why would anyone pay me actually money if they can just prompt it themselves? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I don't understand code that was generated by AI because it's basically as if I would take, I don't know, any kind of software and you would give me the source code and tell me change here something. That's not how things work. You really have to understand what you're doing. You really have to understand the code base. You have to understand the components, the different architecture decisions. And all of that is not there with AI. And of course, AI will improve and it will be able to, you know, showcase the architecture and, you know, make the whole development process a much more faster process. That's for sure. I don't doubt that. We will all use it to be more productive if we want or not. The problem is just that we need to really limit it to such a degree where we can still understand what's going on. Producing tons of code without ownership, without any kind of, knowledge about what is really happening is basically lost time because you end up with a product that might work, but at the same time, you run into this kind of issue where you have a working product and then the customer asks you to change something and you have no idea actually what to do. And you ask again the AI and the AI produces more and more and more and more and more and more and you end up with a huge crazy code base. And could AI minimize that code base? Sure, it can. But there is a huge difference between somebody who wrote the code themselves versus wipe coders. There's a huge difference, and the difference is that you understand what's going on. And even if you're a good programmer, creating tons of code with AI, you will reach a point very quickly where you won't be able to follow along. And I have several use cases for that actually. With that code base, if anyone would ask me here anything, um, what is this method doing? Why have I done it this way? What is the entire process of it? What are the downsides of it? I can already answer that because I wrote this code on my own. Yeah, there are just minor things that I let the AI generate, and that was only for a use case, basically to see an example what it would do in this case. And some small things were actually good that it produced. For example, it gave me here it gave me here some hints basically how I can manage that. So for that kind of stuff, AI is pretty good because it's basically Stack Overflow on steroids. You can ask it a question and it answers you directly, already formatted into your code for your project, the solution. And you can do that to really speed up things. But what you cannot do is to produce entire projects just based on prompting. That's, in my opinion, the worst thing anyone could do, and a lot of people do it, unfortunately, especially people who don't know how to program. And it's kind of a weird time that we're in right now because it seems like our craftsmanship is not required anymore. But I think at the end of the day, the more people will see the struggles that, AI brings, pure wipe coded apps, the more they will probably appreciate people who really understand what's going on. And with that, I don't mean somebody wipe coded something and then you ask an experienced programmer, hey, can you justify the code? Can you just review it? Because that's not how things work. Nobody is able, no matter what kind of level they have, to look at, I don't know, 30,000 lines of code and to judge within a short period of time if that code is valid or not. That's a huge process, and it's probably easier to rewrite the entire thing on your own versus reviewing all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know what you guys think. By the way, if you're curious what I'm building here with Three.js, it's basically a Minecraft clone. And as you can see, I still have a lot of issues going on. There's some artifacts here that I have to fix with the UVs. And also here for the mass generation, I still have some issues. There are also again some artifacts. These are like normal things when you explore stuff in the programming world. It takes just time. But the more you explore, the better you get, the more you can judge code, the better you will also get to produce something unique and special. And when you reach that point where you can really tell what good Three.js code is, for example, or good Angular code, or any kind of code, then you can use some AI to be more productive instead of writing, I don't know, this method on your own. You could tell the AI what you really want, but in order to be able to do that, you really have to know what you're doing. You cannot just say, write me a check is error function and it should do that because it will come up with tons of unnecessary things. But if you already know what you want, basically a co-pilot experience. I think the co-pilot experience, I have not used it that much, but I think Copilot itself was actually a great addition for the autocomplete because it already assumed what you wanted to do and you could save some time instead of writing all the code on your own. You just press tab and that's it. Yeah, it auto completed your function. And sometimes some lines were wrong, but you could easily rewrite them and that's it. With these large language models that we have now that are able to really produce software, I think things will get really wild the next few months and even years because we will have lots of vibe coded apps that will have not any standards, that will be not maintainable, and that will have probably also issues along the way. And so, yeah, for me, I'm not sure how you guys see that. It's been a while, by the way, since I've uploaded also a video. And the main reason was simply because I haven't seen the need to really upload something. Um, with all that AI topic, is there really a need for tutorials? And I guess the answer is still yes. I still think human-made tutorials are still somehow superior than just, you ask the AI. Because you have some natural guidance. The AI will produce, if you ask the AI for a tutorial, it oftentimes gives you unnecessary stuff. And I'm not saying that human produced code is always, the only way to do things, or the always best way, because we do make mistakes along the way. But it's kind of like the part process to really develop software, in my opinion. It's part of the process to have bugs, to find them, to solve them, to understand them. And all of that gives you a unique understanding of the thing that you just wrote or your team wrote. And that's important in times where you have cybersecurity issues, where you have, you know, tons of other problems with unoptimized software. And sure, AI can solve a lot of that and help us with that. But the main thing is just, in my opinion, the current state is kind of wild and funny at the same time, because people assume that software engineering is basically done. But the more you look into the topic and the more you are into that topic, you will probably already see that it's kind of im like it will be really hard for the AI to really replace an entire human in just software engineering. It can surely make them more effective and make them more productive. There's no doubt about that, but replacing entire humans is kind of hard to imagine with the current state and also how programming works. So, yeah, I hope you guys somehow enjoyed that little um, video from me about this entire AI topic. I'm also curious what you guys think, because I made this channel back in the day where there was no large language model. I think back in the day there was some image generation models already, or these handwritten letters machine learning models that could predict which handwritten number you showed them. Well, things have changed quite a lot. So, yeah, and as you may know, I done so many tutorials back then, um, and I don't know. For me, I think the way we learned things before was better. It took more time, but it was just better. And nowadays everything goes fast with this AI stuff, and the art of coding gets lost. And also, it's not just something we're passionate about. It's also something that's really required. You have to be somehow passionate about coding to be good at it and to write good software, I guess. So, yeah, let's see how this ride goes. I hope you guys somehow enjoyed my video here with my opinion about AI. I'm really curious what you guys think. Anyways, thanks for watching. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, give me a like or even subscribe. And yeah, see you maybe soon again. Bye bye.